Okay, so we're recording. That means we're stopping or starting. Hey everyone, hello. I'm Mary Elizabeth Cassar Latta. And among other things, I am the Enhanced Fitness Coordinator here at the Whatcom Family YMCA. And today we're going to do home workout with the band. So this would be a great thing for those days that maybe if maybe you did weights early in the week and on the weekends you're like, hey, I feel like doing some more weights, right? Some more strength training. So this is something you could do on your own. Also, if you travel, you can take your band with you when you travel. But a couple of things before we get into that, a couple of safety things. The bands, what I'd like everyone to do is periodically take a look at their band, run their hand down their band, and check to see, is there any little pieces that are, do they see any cuts or any wear on it? And if you do, that's the time to get a new band. So as you can see, I cut this band up because I don't think you can see it, but it has a couple of little cuts here. And that would be awful if I was doing some work with this band. Yeah, like a hole. Becky's band has a hole in it. So get rid of that band or that tubing, right? And use it for something else so that you don't hurt yourself. One quick thing, these bands come with these nifty handles. Don't throw those away. Repurpose them. You could use them for to, keep your cords nice and neat, right? You could use it. I took one and hooked it to my kayak because my plastic handle broke and we had a piece of wood. So we changed that out and hooked it to this so that I could hold it comfortably when I carry it. The other thing, you could use this for the actual band. You could use it, save it for your garden next year to tie up your dahlias or your tomatoes or something like that. Yeah, lots of things. I'm a pack rat, so yeah. Anyway, so that's the thing. The most important thing though is check your bands for wear, because we'd hate someone to get hurt because their band snapped on them, right? All righty. So today we are gonna learn a workout with the bands. But just like any other time, before we work out, we're going to warm up a little bit. It's important to warm up. It gets our heart rate elevated, and then that's the way our heart is pumping more blood to our muscles that are working harder, right? It also helps to get the joints lubricated. And the other thing is it gives your body, it's like, hey, wake up, we're going to work out. So let's go ahead. We're just going to do a little bit of warm up here, marching in place. Now, we're not going to, let's try not to say so much. We're not going to do a full workout, but we're going to learn how to do the exercises that you guys got the paperwork for, the printouts for. And just a couple of reps of each exercise. We'll go through it. And then at the end, we'll go through it one more time, just 2 or 3 of each exercise, just to kind of sink it in our brains. Let's go ahead. Oh, and tap. I'm going to tap backwards here so I can turn this light back on. But you guys keep tapping in front. There we go. And let's tap to the side, do some upright rows. All right. And let's march in place. And then if you have room, we're going to do single steps side to side. If not, just keep marching. We're going to roll our shoulders back with some single steps side to side. And we're going to roll them forward. You can start with little movements, right? And then as you get warmed up, make them bigger. And then let's do breaststroke with both arms. Go at your pace. And last one here, let's just reach up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. 4 more times. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And march in place. Nice job. All right, last little bit here. Let's just kick in front. And since everything's been so far to the front, after 4, 3, 2, we're going to tap back and pull back. So tap back. You can hold your chair. If you're seated, you would just slide your foot back. All those good things that we've taught you in the other classes. How about 10 more? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's march in place. Nice job, you guys. All right. Okay, so another important thing we're going to talk about today is not only how to do the exercises, but we are going to work large muscle groups to smaller muscle groups. And then also we'll talk about reps during our classes, right? You don't have to worry about that because we tell you how many reps to do or how many we ask you to do. But we'll talk about reps and sets. All right. So if you have your handout, you can put it someplace where you can see it. But you don't have to because we'll go over it at the end and maybe that's when you want to look at it. But go ahead and get your band, right? So I have a tubing here. You could also use the bands. I see a couple of you have flat bands, hopefully not ones with holes in them. And we are going to start with our lat pulls. So our lat pulls, big muscles in the back, right? So I've got my hands through the handles, got my band here. And you could start with it just a little bit above your shoulders or higher. It can be done seated or standing. Our feet are about hip width apart just so that we have a good base. All right, and we're going to draw the elbows down to our side and the band to our sternum or to our chest. So draw it down and then don't let it snap back up. Resist it coming back up. Let's do that one more time and then I'm going to talk a little bit more. All right, so just like anything else, we're going to add some breath. Exhale with the work. Inhale as you recover. All right. Exhale with the work. Inhale as you recover. Let's try that one more time. Exhale with the work. Inhale as you recover. Nice job, you guys. Roll those shoulders forward and back. So that's working the muscles in the back, upper shoulders. Let's work our chest. So we're going to go opposing groups here. So I'm going to toss it over my shoulder, right? Work it up underneath my armpits, not around your neck, underneath my armpits. I'm going to tuck my elbows in. And I like to think of this one, if you were imagining I was on the floor and I was doing a push-up, right? Pushing it away. That's what you want to think about doing. So toes and knees forward. Nice, good, solid base. Thumbs are up and just press it out and then draw it back in. Press it out and draw it back in. One more time, press it out and draw it back in. You could also change this a little bit by bringing your arms up, no higher than your shoulders, and then a wide press forward and bring it in. Wide press forward and bring it in. Still working the same muscle groups, just changing it a little bit. And same thing here, remember, exhale with the work, inhale with the recover. Exhale with the work, inhale with the recover. Nice job. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So now, more exercise for the back of our body. We're going to hold it in one hand. This is upright row on a diagonal. So I'm going to step on the band with the opposite foot that I'm holding it from, right? And it's just going to pull it up and bring it back. So it's almost like you are trying to bring your elbow behind the body just a little bit, right? And if it bothers your shoulders at all to go make that full lift here, just do it part way, right? You don't have to bring it all the way up. And anytime we do it unilateral or one side, we're going to switch. Let's try it on the other side. And it might feel a little bit different. So this is the side I fell on a couple of years ago. So I'm still not 100%, probably 99% there, but it still gets a little glitchy. So I'm going from my hip, right, to the opposite side. One more time. Hip to the opposite side. Nice job. Same thing, you can do it with those bands. All right. So now moving to the front of our shoulder, it's our deltoid, and it's a front raise. So on your handout, it shows you holding it, right? I like to stand on it. So you could do it either way. You could hold it or stand on it. But I kind of feel like, for me at least, standing on it allows me a little bit bigger range of motion, a little bit more tension as it comes down. All right, do you guys feel that in the front of the shoulders? And same thing here, switching sides. And depending on how strong that muscle group is for you, maybe on one side, you can get a lot of tension. And then on the other side, maybe if it's not a very happy shoulder, just step further out so it's less tension. Just up shoulder height and control it going down. Nice job. Roll those shoulders forward and back. And that same thing with holding it at your hip, right? See, on this side, that works for me. All right, nice job. So still going to the upper body. Let's move. So notice we're moving to smaller muscle groups now. Bicep curl. So again, you can hold it and bicep curl, right? Just like you would with the weights, being sure that you don't hyperflex the wrist, or you can stand on it. Bicep curl, keeping that elbow securely into your side, thinking about the muscle group that you're using, exhaling with the work, inhaling with the recovery, exhaling with the work, inhaling with the recovery. And then let's switch sides. So again, either holding it down or standing on it. So I think if you have a band and it's shorter, it's going to work to hold it at your hip, right? These tubings are super long, so that's why it works okay to step on it. Let's do one more here. All right, nice job. Okay, so bicep done. Let's move on to the tricep, going through these muscle groups. So same thing, I'm going to hold it here, close to the body, and kick it back or extend. So a little bit different. So a lot when we use weights, Kevin and I talk about hinging forward, right? So we're working against gravity. With the band, we don't really have to do that. We can stay upright. So extending or straightening the elbow and then bending it. Straightening and bending. And then switching sides, because again, we want to work both sides, both muscles. Straightening and bending. I'm going to hold on to the end. Doesn't work for me to hold the handle so much there. Straightening and bending. Straightening and bending. Nice. So just trying these out, each of these exercises. Okay, so that's it for upper body. Let's go ahead and get a drink of water. It's always good to have extra hydration. All right, so moving on to the exercises of the lower body. So, taking your band, holding on to both handles, and then stepping on the band, feet about hip width apart. I am going to kind of step over here. And then I'm going to bend my knees a little bit so I can get a little bit more tension. So, like we say in our conditioning classes, our weight is going to be on the heels, but make sure you have that band securely anchored under the arch of your foot, not under your toes. Because if you have it under the toes, as you shift your weight back, it might roll up and out from under the toes. So make sure it's securely anchored under your foot, and you're going to push your hips back and then stand up and feel the resistance of that band. Now, sometimes I see people kind of pull up with the arms. Right now, we're just working lower body. So keep those long arms, push the hips back, and then come up nice and tall. Soft knees, don't lock them out as you come up. It's almost completely straight legs, but not quite. There you go. I can feel that in my glutes and my thighs, my hamstrings. Nice job. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and let go of that band. And we're just going to set it off to the side for a body weight lunge. All right. So I'm going to turn sideways. The band is off to the side. I'm going to take one leg, step back. So nice and tall, right? And it's almost as if someone is tapping you on the head to help you come down, as opposed to pushing you forward between your shoulder blades. So that heel stays off the floor, our chest is lifted, and I'm going to sink down and then push through the heel of the front foot and the toes of the back foot as you come up. It doesn't have to be a very deep lunge. Just listen to your body. And if anything hurts, just don't do that exercise, right? One more time, just to practice it here. Nice. And I am going to switch sides. So again, one foot goes back. I'm still looking forward about head height, right? And imagining someone's pushing me down and then coming back up. Notice I'm not tilting forward, just up and down, taking it down and coming up. Let's do this one more time, just to try it out, right? And move our feet. Nice. Okay, so moving on. I have to say, this is one of the exercises I really miss doing in class. So, outside of the hip, we're going to take the band and stand on it, and you could do this seated or standing. So, if you'd like, you can cross it to add more resistance, or leave it at the side for a little bit less resistance. And we're just going to step away and step in. Other side, step away and step in. I know some of you are going, oh man, I really missed this, right? Step away and step in. Step away and step in. So same thing to remember with this exercise is that band is under the arch of the foot and not under the toes or the heels. Let's do it one more time. And step in. All right. Go ahead and let go of one side, step off. And we're going to go back to just some body weight exercise for the lower body. This is for our quad extension. You can either do it seated, nice and tall, straight the leg and bring it down, right? Or you could do it standing. Make sure you have something to hold on to, and you're going to bring that foot up, straighten, and in. And then tap down if you feel like it. All right, so let's try 3 more on one side, and then we're going to switch sides. One thing to think about as you straighten it is push through the heel. I like to tap down in between. Push through the heel. Let's do that one more time. Push through the heel and down. And then let's switch sides. Practice it once, right? Practice it once. Doesn't have to be very high with that knee lift. Okay, let's go 3 times. So push through the heel. Push through the heel. One more time. Push through the heel. Nice. And then if I didn't want to tap down, this is what it's going to look like. I'm just going to bring it up and press, right? And press. Okay, moving on. So remember in the beginning, I said we'll work opposing groups. So we work the quads. Now we're going to work our hamstrings. All right, so it's nice and tall. Go ahead and shift your weight into one side and then bring that heel up towards the bum and bring it back down. Up towards the bum and bring it back down. Either tapping or hovering it. Let's try that one more time. And stop. All right. Let's go ahead and switch legs. I'm going to stay on this side. Not this side of the leg, but facing this way. Switching legs. So towards the bum and down. Towards the bum and down. Towards the bum. You guys look great. I have you on gallery view so I can see you. One more time. Towards the bum and down. All right. Go ahead and move. All right. You never can get too many of these, right? Heel raises. So working the calves. All right. Important for balance. And let's go ahead and either seated or standing, just lift the heels off the floor and bring them down. Lift the heels off the floor and bring them down. Make sure you don't just drop down. Make sure it's controlled. One more time. And down. And finally, the last one for lower body that we're going to do today is working the front of the shins. The front of the legs, which is the shins. So either seated, right? You could do the seated, or I know some of you like to do it standing. If you do it standing, I really would, instead of doing it here, right? Which kind of, when you do it again with the chair, it's really hard to keep your bum tucked under. So I would say go ahead and move to a wall, feet about 16 inches out or so. And either seated or standing, just think about lifting those toes off the floor. Lifting the toes off the floor. Now you hear Tammy talk about taking the cheat out. I could just do this, right? Slide up and down the wall. Nope, don't. We don't want to do that. Just lift the toes off the floor without sliding up and down the wall. Toes up and down. Let's try that one more time. Toes up and down. Nice. Go ahead and move around. All right. So those are the exercises on that sheet. But we're not done. We got a lot more time. So guess what? We're going to just talk a little bit about a couple of things, and then we're going to go through all the exercises one more time. All right. So remember, if it hurts, don't do it. There's more than one way to work a muscle group, so we can always make suggestions for a particular exercise, right? We talk a lot about 8 to 12 repetitions. That's a good amount for the muscles to get worked, to have them feel like they're really getting work, this 8 to 12 repetitions. One time through is good. Twice is like much, much better. So if you have the time, go through them twice. The other thing is remember your stance. Kind of think about what you're doing. Don't just kind of zone out. Think about the muscle groups you're working. That'll help you stay engaged and really use good form. Support is important, right? So that could be your person who you're living with saying, hey, good job, I support you. But I think what we're talking about is a sturdy chair or a wall, right? Especially for anything that's single limb of the lower body. And 3 days a week. So that doesn't mean Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 3 days a week means every other day. Give your muscles a chance to recover in between, right? There is one muscle that you want to work every day, and that's your heart, your cardiac muscle, right? So do go ahead and do cardio work every day, whether that's walking or bicycling or whatever fills your cup. But your cardiac muscle you can work every day, right? And go ahead, we'd love to see that. All right, let's get a drink of water and go through all of these. Let's say we'll do them just like 3 or 4 times each, but without all the talking on my part anyways. All right, let's get some water and go through them. I am going to grab a band. So sometimes I interchange and I call this a band. This is tubing, this is band. And I use the band for some of the exercises. So let's start with the upper body and the lat pulls. So I've got the band, right? Okay, I'm gonna bring it up above my shoulders or higher, it depends on how your shoulders, drawing my elbows down to my sides and up. Okay, let's do this 4 times. So 4, exhale, 3, 2, pulling my shoulder blades, feeling them move, and 1. Nice. All right, let's go ahead, tossing the band over the shoulder, or you're tubing over your shoulder, getting it up under my arms, thumbs up, right? Don't wrap it around your thumbs, tucking my elbows in for my chest press. Ready? Press it out and in. Press it out and in. Another thing to think about is 1, 2, in, 2, 1, 2, in, 2. Nice. All right, let's go ahead to that diagonal upright row. Tubing on the floor under 1 foot. Okay, got it secured. Then it's in my hand of the opposite side and up and down. Draw it up and down. So exhaling and exhaling. Nice. Let's go ahead and switch sides. All right. Got a good sturdy base. Ready? Drawing it back and down. Back and down. Nice. I don't see any of you. Remember that elbow goes up and behind. Up and behind. Nice. All right. All right, deltoid race. So remember I told you with my tubing, I like to step on it, but because my band is short, I'm going to hold on to it by my hip and lift it forward and back. Okay, let's go. Little soft bend at my elbow of the arm, that's working. All right, let's switch sides. And it's okay if one side feels different. Let's do 2 more here. Lifting, straight in front. Nice. All right, let's go. Moving to the bicep. So again, because I have my band instead of my tubing, if I had my tubing, I'd step on one end and anchor it. But since I have the band, I'm going to anchor it with my hand, tuck my elbow in, bicep curl. Bicep curl. Let's do 1 more on this side. All right, switch sides. Taking out that excess slack, right? Arms down, bicep curl. You could stand on it if you have enough length of your band or your tubing, or hold it with your hand. Do it 1 more time. All right. Okay, so moving to our triceps. So tucking the elbow back, taking up the extra slack, and I'm going to straighten my elbow and bend it. All right, let's go. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. All right, let's switch sides. Taking up that slack, straighten and bend, straighten and bend. Let's do 1 more. Nice. All right, so moving to the lower body. So if my band here wasn't long enough, this one's not quite long enough, right? I would let go, it would slip out of my hand. So if you don't have a band that's long enough for your squats, you could do them without the resistance, or you could do sit to stands. So that's a nice thing to think about. So if your band isn't long enough, you can do sit to stands or without resistance. I'm going to switch to my tubing for the squats. So again, it's under the arch of my foot. And take up the slack and push my hips back, keep my chest lifted, straighten my legs and come up, squeeze my bum. Or sit to stand, or do the squats without that added resistance. Do 2 more. 1 more. Nice. All right, so letting go of one side of the band, stepping off. Let's do our body weight lunges. So I've got my chair here to hold on to. I've got 1 foot back, heel is lifted. I'm going to sink down and then come straight up. So I'm not going forward. If we had a big X, we could put an X there if I went forward. But sink down and come up. Sink down and come up. This time we're exhaling as we push up with the work, inhaling as we sink down. And then let's switch sides. Sinking down and coming up, squeezing through my tush, pushing through my heels of my front foot and the toes of my back foot. Let's try this 2 more times. Once more. Nice. All right. So abduction, working our outer thighs. I'm going to show it to you seated with my band, but you can do it standing with your tubes or seated with your tubing. All right. So again, my band here is kind of short, so I want to hold it sitting up tall. I'm crossing it to get that added resistance. It's your choice if you cross it or not. And step out and in, out and in, out and in, out and in. Let's do 2 more on each side. Out and in, out and in. One more time. I know there's people saying, oh my gosh, we need to do more of these. All right, let's go ahead and let go of it. All right, let's put our bands off to the side. The next 4 exercises are going to be without the bands, just body weight. So either seated quad extensions or standing quad extensions. I'm going to sit for these ones, but you can stand, right? So pushing through my heel and bending my knee. Push through the heel, bend your knee. If you are seated, think about your posture, right? Don't get all slumpy. One more time. Nice. And let's switch sides, making sure if you're standing, you have something solid to hold on to. Okay. Straighten or push through the heel, bend the knee. Push through the heel, bend the knee. Push through the heel, bend the knee. One more time. Push through the heel, bend the knee. Nice. All right, so moving on to the hamstrings. If you're standing, heel to bum, and bring it down, either tap or hover, or I'm going to demonstrate it seated, and that's that slide back, that cleaning off your shoe. So putting it out, either heel to bum or slide back, pushing against the floor with your foot. Slide back, feel that hamstring muscle, that group of muscles contract and work. Let's do one more. Nice. All right, let's switch sides. So heel out in front if you're seated. If you're standing, your foot's just on the floor. And then either slide it back or bring that heel up towards your bum if you're standing. Slide it back. Slide it back, sitting up nice and tall. Remember to breathe. Exhale. One more time. All right. Okay, last 2, seated or standing. And especially if you're going through this 2 times, everything, by the second one, you might want to sit down. So by the second round, let's go ahead and lift our heels, lift them up and lower. Lift it up and lower, up and lower, up and lower. Let's do 2 more. Up and lower. One more. Up and lower. Nice. And then the front of our lower leg, either against the wall, right, with the feet out, knees bent a little bit, or seated, just lift the toes off the floor and lower. All right, let's do 5 of them. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. One more, up and down. Nice, move the feet. All righty, so that, we're gonna do a little bit of stretching here while I talk some more. So that takes us through upper and lower body. Just a couple of reminders is work large muscle groups to smaller muscle groups, and 8 to 12 repetitions. 1 time through is good. twice is even better. If you really, 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 really like it, go 3 times through. Every other day, make sure you have a day in between. Twice a week is good. 3 times a week is even better. Make sure you exhale with the work and inhaling with the recovery, and stop for water breaks. And if something hurts, don't do it. All right, let's go ahead and do a little stretch here because we did work those muscles. Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully that helps so that next time, yay, I see some, okay, good. I see thumbs up and heads shaking. That's good size. And yay to Tammy for those awesome little stick figures that she draws. All right, let's go ahead and stretch the front of our big muscles in our legs. So stepping that leg back, shifting the weight, feeling that stretch in the thighs. And remember, if you need some tubing, right, the tubings with the handle, you can call us, let us know, or email us, and we'll leave one for you at the front, at our welcome desk. We'll even clean it off for you. Other side. And we'll do the first examination, make sure it doesn't have any weak areas. But then after that, it's up to you guys to examine them. And release it. Let's do upper body stretch, reach behind, hands together. You can do that seated or standing, and just maybe pull your shoulders back, squeeze them together. And if it feels okay for you, you can lift your arms up a little bit. I think this might have been the exercise in the newsletter, one of them. And release it. And then let's do that other exercise that was in the newsletter. Hands together, right? Fingers pointing towards your chin at first. And then we're going to round our back, reach out, the fingers point forward. Just hold it here, feel the stretch. Take a couple of breaths. And release it, sit up tall, shake out your hands. Open and close, especially I think after doing weights or using the bands or the tubing, you do want to stretch out your fingers, right? Open and close because they've been holding those devices securely. Maybe rotate your wrists a few times. And that's it. That concludes our home workout with bands. Thank you for joining us.